Well, happy Friday, everyone. I hope your weekend is off to a good start. So I just wanted to come in and just drop a couple of tips. First and foremost, I hope that you are setting dates on your calendar to basically venture out this year, start getting your feet wet so you can go out and be in different spaces that you have interest of. I found 2 events that I wanted to go to, but one was sold out, and it's not until I think either February, towards the end of February, something like that. But it was such a good jazz concert that I wanted to go to, but it's already sold out. So that shows that if you have certain interests, go ahead, go on eventbrite.com and start looking up different events, because sometimes they sell out so quickly. So you want to make sure that you get your tickets. But I do have a couple of places that I am going to venture out next week. So we'll see how that goes. I am going to record it and let you see what I am doing, when I go out. Hopefully I can record in certain places that I go to, but you'll get to see some of the footage of that. But what I really wanted to come in and talk about today is that when you, man or woman, right, when you enter into a connection with an individual, and basically it starts off to maybe like a good start, you feel like there's a spark, you feel that they want the same thing that you want, they want a committed relationship, and they come off as this is what they want longevity. They are maybe come off as they are a family man or a family woman. They want to have some stability, right? But basically what that is a manipulation tactic to basically get you attached to them. Because once they basically, as they're wearing this mask of who this person that they're showing up as in that present moment, it's to get you to feel as though, oh wow, this is a family man, he really is about not being out there in the streets, not about pursuing other women or women pursuing other men. They really want some stability. They've been through certain situations in their life where they don't want that type of dynamic anymore, so they are ready to settle down. So I do see that me and this person can have a future together, right? All the while that this person is really not pursuing that. They're trying to either attach to you for a couple of things, and one could be because of maybe resources. Some men and women look for other counterparts to basically fund a lifestyle. Maybe they want someone who has a good job or has a lucrative business because they feel as though this person is going to satisfy their material needs, right? So this is what they look for. They look for these type of individuals, and they promise them all of these different type of things, thinking that this is someone who is on the same page as them. But in actuality, this is not really what they represent. They're basically what you would call clout chasers. They're basically just there for what they can get out of a connection. It's not based on love. It's not based on intimacy or building a family unit. It's based on their stability of what they can get out of a person. And that type of person, they will always look for a better opportunity, even though they may be in your life and you may think that it's a stable connection, but in actuality, they're always looking to see who has maybe more than you, because they will start distancing themselves from you, even though they'll try to keep you hooked to them, right? They're not trying to release you. They're trying to keep you hooked to them, but they're still, weighing their options, or out there basically telling or feeding people the same line or the same BS, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is because women as well as men, you have to be very careful, because what I want you to really understand and start to pay attention to is people patterns. Because within the first, I would say, let's say 2 to 3 months of maybe knowing this person, let's even go to 6 or 7 months of knowing this person, their whole goal is to get you attached to them, some type of attachment where when the mask starts falling off, or they start reverting back to who they really are, or the type of person they are, you're so invested in who they showed up as in the beginning that you're trying to get or capture back that person who you met in the beginning. But what you have to understand, that person does not exist. And let me say that again. The person that you first met, because when you meet a person, if they start changing up in how they connect with you after a certain period of time, maybe I understand, like, in the beginning of a connection, you're very much invested, you're getting to learn one another and things of that nature. So yeah, there is a little bit of dropping off of, being, on the text or on the phone all the time, but the consistency of how they show up, the consistency of, things that they do with you, there's an equal give and take. It's not just one person pouring into the other person. If this person truly sees you and values you, they're going to show up for you in the ways that just doesn't make you feel seen. What I would say outwardly, they're going to make your nervous system feel good. Every time they call, you have to understand, women as well as men. How do you feel when this person begins to ask you for something? What is their pattern when they start asking you for things? Because some people have a pattern. It may be every 2 weeks. Then you'll notice, wow, every 2 weeks, they're always asking me for something. Or every 2 weeks, I'm noticing a change up in how they communicate with me. I'm noticing certain things that they're doing that is giving me a cause for, what is going on. And they may pretend like, oh, well, I'm busy, I'm working more, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, when actuality, they're entertaining other options. They're basically probably feeding them the same thing that they fed you, or depending on who that person is, they will wear a different mask for different people that they come in contact with. And what I need you to understand, because when you start understanding that that person is no longer the person you met after some time has went by in that connection, what you have to start doing is now understanding that person never existed. See, that was the illusion that they fed you to keep you hooked to them, because obviously you wanted stability. Obviously, probably you wanted a long-term relationship, probably leading to marriage, right? And, doing things together, probably building a business together, buying a home together. So all those things that they made you believe that was something that they were invested in, when actuality, that's not what they wanted, right? They wanted to continue to keep you hooked or tied to them. One, either financial situation, or either it was your energy, or either it was your intimacy, sleeping with them. So you have to understand, when their character shifts within a certain period of time of knowing them, and you start seeing them move differently, you have to understand that person that they showed up as in the beginning was just a facade. That person never existed. So you're trying to get back the energy and the effort that this person put in to basically attach, to you, but that was never who they were. So what you have to do is you have to break the illusion, because a lot of times when you can walk away from a person and they'll come back and say, oh, I know I messed up, I know I didn't do X, Y, and Z, but you have to understand, patterns don't lie. People have a pattern. Yes, they can keep up a facade and put on a mask for a certain period of time, but actuality, they're going to revert back to who they truly are. And you have to start breaking the illusion of what this person presented as how they're showing up now in your life. Because if not, then you'll keep thinking that this is who this person is, when they were never that person. They were never a family man. They were never a family woman. They were a person who was basically out there in the streets, probably sleeping with other people. They probably were still married. You didn't know that. They probably had you as another option. And ladies, you have to understand, when a man calls you or texts you or certain things that he does, notice the time that he does it around. Can you call him and get him to FaceTime you at a certain time? Can his calendar be open? I'm not saying open to the point where, you're just going to invade on, what the man is doing. What I'm saying is, can you access him without it feeling like he's hiding something from you? That he will only answer the phone at a certain time, or he'll only, call you when he's outside, or someplace where, there's where it kind of seems sketchy. You have to allow your intuition to speak to you and stop what I would say fantasizing over something that they fed you in the beginning that they can't sustain in the long term. So that is just a tip that I wanted to come in and drop, to let you be aware of how people will show up in your life. They can only play the game for a certain amount of time, but you have to be so vigilant and know yourself. Know when your body is telling you something. Know when something seems off. And a lot of times we'll go to them and say, well, something seems off or whatever. And if a person is gaslighting you because they're a narcissist, they'll basically, oh, you're tripping, oh, something's wrong with you, and yada yada yada. So you won't allow your discernment to basically show you that this person is not who they portrayed themselves to be. So be vigilant out here, know your worth, stand on your boundaries. And when people show you who they are, believe it, because trying to have a fantasy relationship is only going to lead you to heartbreak. Trying to reclaim something that a person showed up as in the beginning of that connection, knowing that that is not who they are, is only going to lead to heartbreak, because you're fantasizing about something or a fantasy or dream that they put in your head, and that's what you're going off of. You're not going off of what's in front of you or what you're sensing. So I just wanted to come in and share that with you. Have a great Friday and a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.